So the best way to make children good is to make them happy. Here goes a famous quote by Oscar Wilde. It's by far the best advice for parents because if your child is happy, he or she would definitely be good and successful in life. And that's what every parent desires. With these few words, I would like to now officially open the event. Before we get started, let me introduce you to the two key individuals working behind the scenes to ensure that the event runs smoothly. Let me begin with Sushim Sudhay, our technical facilitator for today. Sushim Sudhay is a student of class 8. He studies in Tagore International School, Vasant Vihar in South Delhi. He is an ardent artist and likes to paint using various medium of charcoal, pencil, watercolor, acrylic, etc. He is passionate about people of war zone as he feels they go through a lot of suffering to live their life. He's an excellent coder, a certified game developer. He was a part of a special global coding event where he learned about the red planet and he took in an exciting Mission Mars coding hackathon. He is also an excellent swimmer and footballer, a very good actor too. He created a movie for Chin Film Festival for India. He recently played a role of Ram Prasad Bismil for his school Independence Day celebration. His interest lies on reading and researching on militants as to why they go for such paths a lot about. Now I would like to introduce you to Mr. Narendra Mishra, who is today in charge of sound and recording of our event. So Narendra Mishra, after completing his 10+2 from Motihari East Champaran, Narendra Mishra moved to Delhi for his further studies and took admission in Deshbandhu College, Delhi, studied there for 1 year, but was not satisfied with the choice of college and tried for a better college. Finally got admission in the prestigious St. Stephen's College, Delhi. During his graduation, he got freelancing work at NDTV, worked for 4 years plus as a production assistant. Then for 7 years, he did freelance work with different production houses in Mumbai. Post-marriage, he came to Delhi and started working with EdTech companies. Presently working with Bharti Foundation, a CSR division of Bharti Enterprises, Airtel Group. During this job, he completed his master's in journalism and mass communication and postgraduate diploma in business administration, general marketing. His hobbies, interests are in external and internal affairs of India. Now I would like Mr. Narendra Mishra to play the vision video.
Sure. Xena World Vision Document. We're a family, bringing joy, happiness, prosperity in our lives and around by nurturing, encouraging, catalyzing, enabling 360-degree well-being in physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and economic dimensions. Our vision: abundance of joy, happiness, care, and prosperity for all. Our mission: we strive for alleviating pain, suffering, and poverty, encouraging unshackled-free thoughts, enabling dignified jobs and livelihood, nurturing close family bonding, seeking joy and happiness in the impact caused. Our values: passion, work with passion and from heart. Our values: humility, learning attitude, mutual respect, and open to listening to others. Our values: integrity, sincere, honest, and ethical principles. Our values: empathy, understand and feel others as your own. Our values: humanity, have compassion, brotherhood, fellow feeling, and kindness. Our values: joy, work that brings joy and value diversity and inclusion. Our character: trust, belief, faith, and confidence in self and in others, from where love and compassion emanate. Our character: virtue, high moral values, patience, consideration, trustworthiness, and forgiveness. Our character: transparency, honesty, openness, and not guarded. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Today's panel discussion is on the impact of parenting on child's development. We'll take this idea forward today. Today, our panelists would draw on their personal experiences and talk about their unique parenting styles. A common thread that connects all of them is the thought that each child is unique and they need their own kind of attention, love, and respect. They would also focus on the parenting styles that lead to a child's development and the tips they receive from elders about parenting. Firstly, we have our keynote speaker, Dr. Swati Chandra. I would like to introduce her. Dr. Swati Chandra is an assistant professor in English at the College of Vocational Studies, University of Delhi. She is also a secretary at EFSLE, Ecosophical Foundation for the Study of Literature and Environment. Interested in creative writing as she is, she writes poetry both in English and Hindi. And when mood and leisure permit, she dabbles into other forms of artistic expression. Her areas of interest include comparative literature, gender studies, translation studies, and culture studies. I would like to hand over the event to the keynote speaker.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Hello?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry because actually I'm at some other place. I'm in transit mode. I'm traveling and I'm at somebody's place. So I took time and perhaps I would also not be able to stay for the entire session. And this also happened suddenly. So I did not have the time to plan out. And I'm not sure what is expected of me as a keynote speaker, but I would like to begin on a note that so as designated, or as I have been given the designation, I am considered as one of the founding members of Zena. Just because, not because I was actually there, but just because amongst all the people, because Zena, as it is today, it has taken a long time, a good amount of patience and belief in what we are doing for those people who have stayed, despite everything, despite all, things not working on well, the time taken in all the audios, in the, all the entities being set up, and obviously the pandemic, as we all know of, which derailed everything and put also, our own people also, their own lives were also disturbed, and so many things happened. So those who stayed behind, few people, the core people, obviously I did not play much of role, but since I'm there since at least 2016, therefore Rajiv likes to call me as one of the founding members. So that is how I'm here. So Zena began, if we know, as the thought process that was there initially. Initially, it was, as the name is, a Zena. It was mostly, women centric. The idea behind coming up with this organization, if we use the term properly, was women centric. That we'll be doing things for women, but slowly, with more people joining in, more ideas coming in, and people coming from different sectors, we have expanded the horizon of Zena, and we have included many other things, because on a practical note, we had to accept that people, especially for an organization or an idea or a concept that is still in process, that has not been built up entirely. Everybody wants to join a successful, uh, you know everyone wants to be part of a successful venture, but something that is still beginning, something which is still going through its struggle, people get hesitant. And that is what happened. We have a wonderful pool of people with us, but there are many people, who, because of whatever reasons, which I would not like to delve on, they were there, but then today they are not with us. So we, people, those who have stayed, we can, realize the importance that there should be something here that brings this personal motivation for people to also step in. So everyone, in whatever sector they might be in, if they're in finance or whatever their area of expertise, their area of interest, or their vocation might be, there should be some scope or some outlet for personal growth as well. And that is why, depending on whatever their interests were, depending on whoever was interested, their likes, the time, the amount of time that they can dedicate, you know so all this, we have something to do with financial setup as well. We have different entities, we have so that people find something for them as well, because if we understand human nature and tendency, they should also be able to get something in return, that's from a practical point of view. So that is how we had meetings after meetings. We had failures, of course. They would sometimes, it would look like things are not going the way it should, but with different people helping us, and it is a rite of passage for any organization. It goes through the initial hiccups, and we also did. And today we stand with amazing pool of people with us, and and even now, we have not been, perhaps in the very visible sense, uh, be able to give the shape to our ventures, interests, in the form, to get things materialized the way we would have wanted. But we have arrived. We have arrived. We have, our, we had, the registration has been done, address, office, the basic things have been taken care of, and we have arrived. And hopefully, that we are meeting on a regular basis, even if I had been, like, personally, because of different things, had not been there in some of the meetings, most of the meetings in the last 4-5 months, but people are meeting. Rajiva has been very consistent in bringing people, in being able to, bring, put in that much of energy and faith, and people have come together, and that is why, and this is also one of those meetings. And very, the topic that we have today, and the role of parenting, though I'm yet to be a parent, but being a teacher, and incidentally, it happens to be Teachers Day today, you know uh, uh, I think, this is the right topic to talk about, because pandemic, saw most of us staying indoors for longer hours, how we were not used to. And the gap, the generational gap that we have, it might happen, it happens even now with my parents. Their understanding and perspective about life and things in general do not match with what I think. And we also, sometimes we are not on the same plane. So there are some disagreements, and now different families have different, over a period of time, they have a different set of the different patterns of how they deal with things. Sometimes they do not know how to, whether to be aggressive. Earlier, if you trash your child, or even if you just rebuke them, it was considered okay. But today they're not. Our youngsters are very sensitive, and they're exposed to a lot of information. So they have access to a lot of information, which makes which brings them to a position where they think that they know. They think that they know everything, and sometimes they're right. They know things. If we talk of information and exposure to certain things, they know more than us. But then obviously, there is some importance to the white hair as well, which is not great just because it was under the sun. So how to bring that, the experience, the wisdom, or wisdom that comes with experience of the gray hair, even if it is painted, and these young, yeah, this restless energy. So parenting, because earlier, we lived in our family setup was different. We lived a lot with lot of people. Almost every family was similar. There were similar things happening, but today, the nuclear setup that we have now, we are all dealing with a very enclosed space, with a very and the nature of relationship has changed over this period of time. Individuality has crept in. Everybody wants space. Now, how to navigate that space, how to make each other understand their viewpoints, and yet agree to disagree, and sometimes also accept their mistakes. There's a lot of things, because we know our future, as the very cliched statement, but the future belongs to this younger generation, and we have a role. We definitely, in parenting here, does not mean only the biological parents, but even as a teacher, I feel a lot of responsibility towards my students. What I speak in the class, what maybe, unconsciously as well, I might be influencing them through the examples, through the opinions, through different ideas that I expose them to. There is a sense of responsibility. And but sometimes maybe even we are not trained. No, but there's no training in parenting. There are things we learn, things we have seen. So now how? So that is why we have we have some good people, intelligent people coming together today, who will be talking about what is their opinion, what inputs they have for how to improve this gap, how to bridge this gap, this generational gap, and to talk about the role of guardianship or parenting, and how do they see this relationship. So I would just uh, try to hand over the platform to them, so that they can let us get acquainted with their wisdom, and hopefully by the end of the talk we will be exposed to more ideas and better know-how of how to uh, look at the younger generation, and obviously those who are senior to us. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to show a video, introduction video for all the panelists today. Is my screen visible?
Sana, just 1 second. After the keynote address, Narendra uncle has to play the memories and milestones.
Okay.
you.
Okay, thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay.
Dr. Poonam Arora retired in 2017 as the Associate Dean of the College and Rosenfield Chair for Diversity and the Liberal Arts at Grinnell College in the United States. She did her PhD in English and Film Studies from SUNY Binghamton. Her career began with teaching film and literature at the University of Michigan Dearborn in 1989. She then expanded her teaching, research and administrative service as the chair of the Humanities Department from 2002 to 2007 to all the humanities disciplines. From 2007 to 09, she was the Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at Zayed University in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Here, she facilitated the development of a liberal arts curriculum for a young and affluent nation by its women students. Dr. Arora has turned her experience in teaching the humanities into policies and practices for strengthening the liberal arts through social justice, equity, and diversity in higher education in the United States, the Middle East, and now India. She received her school and college education at Delhi Public School, Mathura Road, and St. Stephen's College, Delhi. As Senior Vice President at Zena Global Family Foundation and Zena World, she is currently working on a book tentatively titled The Indic Liberal Arts for the 21st Century: Policy, Prospects, and Problematics. Dr. Shonali Datta Banerjee has almost 2 decades of experience in consulting, coaching, and training in space of HROD, employee engagement, management across various verticals like manufacturing, finance and accounting, knowledge services, customer services, hospitality, healthcare, FMCG, retail, publishing, and also academia. She has specialized skills in supporting leaders to program their implementation across various demographics and span of control. She has worked with business and operations teams to translate business strategy and tactical imperatives into employee initiatives and executed them in a participative and engaging manner. She has also partnered with business leaders and their leadership teams to drive their priorities and handled global projects. Her expertise is in motivating leaders to create results for the organizational impact. Diksha Awasthi comes with 14 years plus of versatile experience in R&D, strategic planning and market research. Alumni of IIT Kanpur, she is well known for driving growth and profitability with her expertise in delivering technology solutions. With her experience, she brings global perspective by grasping the big picture, conceptualizing, developing, and implementing solutions that enable business to better address their needs. Diksha is also member of board at AA, IIT Kanpur, and mentor at First Incubation Center, IIT Kanpur. She is National Director of Social Entrepreneurship and Enterprises, a platform which promotes social innovation in India through 500 plus enterprises working on various SDGs. She founded Diksha Live, a platform where she is exploring the limitless power of mind and body. Her quest involves decoding energies to learn and experience mindful and soulful living. Pragya Paramita Mitra studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya, that is Central School, all over India, as her daddy was an army doctor and was posted at different locations in India. She did her 11th and 12th grades from Kendriya Vidyalaya Barakpur and went to the prestigious BITS Pilani for a B Pharmacy degree. She is well traveled. For leisure, stayed and worked for some time as an English teacher in Lithuania and Estonia. Currently a licensed pharmacist in Canada, managing and running own independent pharmacy. Super interested in sports, physical fitness, travel, music, languages such as French, Spanish and Italian. Learning about different cultures, health, well-being, socializing, food, arts and craft, interior decoration, books whenever she is on vacation, and of course pets. Tanas Patel Sopariwala, a graphic designer, worked in advertising clients like Leela Kempinski, Benetton, Sistine, All Asia, Software India. She loves climbing mountains and trekking, which she has passed on to her kids. Has done professional Himalayan treks, and her elder daughter has done Everest Base Camp and NIM. She is a postgraduate in management in human resource from XLRI, working with an American MNC, and her younger daughter is studying French and German from Bombay University and Alliance Francaise. Participated in Mumbai-Goa Women's Rally as a rally driver, conducted by Times and Automobile Association of India. As per Tanas Patel Sopariwala, reading and participating in activities like rafting, hiking is very essential, and nature is the first teacher of us to be humanitarian.
Thank you. This was the 5 panelists, and now I'll be introducing our moderator for today, Meena Talakraj. As Meena Talakraj proudly asserts, she is a woman, a mother, and a grandmother first, and then a professional as a passionate storyteller, promoter of tourism for global goodwill and understanding, India's only travelism expert, and a pioneer of alternative education and as a life interpreter. Besides this, she is a Smile ambassador and a social do-gooder. Meena Talakraj was among the pioneers of alternative education since 1983, when she started the PLUS programs and has been doing workshops on life skills and soft skills. Meena Talakraj believes women, youth, and senior citizens play a very vital role in the society. Over to you, Ms. Meena Talakraj. Meena ma'am, are you there?
Sorry, I forgot to answer. And here I am. Okay. Hello friends, thank you Shana for your kind introduction and thank you from much to, I would, but just to give you a brief understanding of the whole thing as we take it forward, as we all know that besides parenting experts, every mother is a parenting expert for her child. The reason is that every child is unique, facing unique situations, and there is no manual in the world which has all the do's and don'ts and how to kind of a thing, do it yourself for every child. But at the same time, motherhood is an instinct. Even animals, birds, the moment they are mothers, they know what to do with their little ones. Haven't we seen them all? So the moment a female gets pregnant, she already starts communicating with her child. So I would like to bring forward to you these 5, or rather we have 4 now because one is not available. Okay. These 4 mothers who have been in different situations, absolutely different. Each one has been in a different situation. And
Didi, just 1 minute interjection.
yes, please.
Even Sonali is available. So all the 5 are present.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay. More the merrier. So what I was saying is that I would be presenting all these 5 ladies, 5 mothers, who, although their situations were different, there was no manual to tell them what to do. But as all mothers are, they are guided by their instinct of motherhood, by their observation of the child, and most of all, by their love and care for their child, right? So I would like to present them one by one. The first one that I would like to present is Tanaz. Now, Tanaz has 2 children, 2 daughters, and both are different. So the same rules that she applied for one could not have been applied for the other one. What did she do? As I told you, instinct, observation, and love and care of what she wanted for her children. That is what she applied, right? And she says that she had a 3rd baby of 87 years old also. That's her mother. So she had to parent her mother also. Let's see what were their challenges and how did she manage them. Tanaz, to you. Tanaz, are you there?
Coming out. Thank you, Meena.
Most welcome, dear.
Your introduction was very sweet and you got my gist of what I wanted to say very well. Thank you, Shana, also for introducing me. The thing is, as she has said, I have parented my 2 daughters in a very different set of circumstances. My younger daughter was me. My elder daughter was born to me when I was young, healthy, and having a good life with my family, with my husband, and everything. Things went smoothly. I had a lot of help, and she was academically doing so well. I had to just go to school and listen to the wows and good things about her and feel nice about it. I had my own life in advertising at that time and things were going smoothly. I was a very naughty child by myself, and having a good baby and a good child was always a question asked to me. How have you managed to get such a good child when you yourself was a pain in the this thing to your parents? Luckily, it lived short-lived for me. My second child was born when I was 34, and I already had some things happening in my marriage which were not going in the right directions, which sort of also created for my unborn child. She came out with difficulties, medical difficulties, and And she was also labeled a slow child, labeled differently, like an indigo child, slow child, dyslexic, and the labels kept on popping one class to another. And there were very, very mean labels too, which I don't want to put them into words, because today she has risen out of all of it, and she's doing so well. Okay, I'm proud. Okay, yes, I went through all these things, and she also had to go through uh, moment kind of physiotherapy and stuff like that, and a lot of CT scans and a lot of medical problems just to know what was exactly wrong. She spoke at 2 years old. By the time children are speaking sentences, her milestones were delayed, and her self-esteem was at a very low, as every time in school she could not cope up with the load which was put on her. And plus the thing is, she had a sister 7 years elder to her, who was you could say an example of a good child, who was doing academically excellent, standing first, and she was standing first in the full Parsi community at the time from the board exams of the ICSE. So like she was being compared all the time. Okay, your sister is standing first, and where are you? Will you be able to do her way? And because of that, the sibling rivalry started also. And I had to go on telling her, okay, see, she is somewhere good, somewhere you are good, and like things like that would happen. And this took a toll on my marriage too. And I was bringing up these two kids by myself, and it was difficult, but it was good, because I had no interference in bringing them up. There was no interference at all. I was a single parent. I was happy because I could really tell them exactly what I wanted without being a second thought about it. You know, this is right or this is wrong. And my children realized my difficulties too, and were really very supportive. And that's why I tell everybody, kids are always different. One kid will be very academically oriented, and you don't have to do anything for her, and she will shine through everything. The other kid will have problems. She'll be a slow child, but she shine through everything today. Today she's 21. She's doing French BA, German BA, being a dyslexic child, which she was labeled as. Languages are impossible to learn according to the psychiatrist and physiotherapist I went to. She plays the piano, maybe not to a concert level, because it's supposed to right and left alignment is not available in dyslexic kids. So playing the piano is a very difficult thing. Today she plays the piano and she enjoys herself. Maybe she is not putting up a performance, but she is able to play a piece without making too many mistakes. And she is best of it is she is enjoying herself.
Tanaz, I would like to interrupt you here.
Yeah, sure. Tell me.
And I would like you to tell us as to what were the typical, should I say situations or should I say challenges, and how exactly did you rise above them? How did you manage them? That is what we would like to know in your parenting skills.
Yeah, like from the school at every now and every year as a school year passed through, the school has a rule that all children are supposed to be inclusive in the education system. There is no children can be put behind. But every year I had to go to the school and make it a point. I'm not shifting my child. I'm not putting her in another class. I'm still keeping her in this. Even if you want, you can keep her back, but she will stay here and she'll be in the school only. Every year would be understanding, okay, you need physiotherapy, you need this, you need that. I said, I will do whatever is required, but I will not make her feel that she was not able to cope up with her studies. And luckily, with all this physiotherapy, the early education classes and everything, she did cope up. She finished her 10th with 89% from the ICSE board. Of course, keeping maths and science, but she did French, which now helps her to do her BA in French. So basically, you have to go on letting them know, keeping their self-esteem high.
No,
You
Tanas,
can, yeah, yeah.
I would like you to tell us, apart from the professionals, whatever they did, the teachers did, whatever
Yeah.
they did,
Yeah.
what did you do at home with her? Or
Yeah,
how did you?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was available to her with all her problems, with all her projects, everything, like whatever she could not do, I was there for doing it for her, explaining to her, because it was above her class level, her own standards. Okay, so I would do it for her also, to be very frank, and explain to her, this is done, this is what it is all about. And uh, basically, much more than anything, you have to be there for the child, give a lot of love, lot of understanding. When she's crying about somebody being mean to her, don't teach her to be mean or give back, but tell her you can stand up and do well. Like, and lot of hugging, lot of was more essential for her, because every time from school when she was hurt by somebody's, in fact, once she was very, very rude to somebody who was going on pulling her down, and she told that girl, "You are a chinky," and it was so, and it was a big thing because it was a racial slur, and luckily the teacher was very understanding. So she told the parent, "You definitely get a complaint lodged against the child for a racial slur, Karine. But remember, I as a teacher will put in my word also, saying this girl has been always been bullied in the class. And if she today says she's a chinky and you take it as a racial slur, I will back her up also. So you go ahead and do it." So the teacher called me up and said, "It's not done, Karine. But I will back up your daughter because I know what she is going through." So that is where I'm saying some teachers were exceedingly nice to her, and some teachers, like, you know what happens.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of every time love, holding her hand, getting her work done, getting her dressed up like a doll. If you want to make her feel, it helps in making them feel important, because she was a very good looking child, so that helped her in her self-esteem also. Okay, she
Right.
was good looking. Then in her academics she was down. So, and every time, luckily for me, I had a very good family backup, so they would tell her, "Oh God, you are really bright," and this thing. And as my elder daughter was appearing for an engineering exams, and a 12th standard marks not good, because you only give the NETs and IIs. You're not bothered about the 12th standard marks. Luckily for her, my smaller one got higher marks in the 12 because she was going for a normal education. So everybody told her, "Okay, Jennifer got less marks than you in the 12th, and you were done so well." So any point, anything, a smallest thing, we had to jack it up to a bigger proportion,
Right.
to make her feel big. Okay? She is better. She is good. Like, at the same time, I would let the elder one know, "Okay, I'm jacking up because she needs it." So once
Yes, I
my
guess
elder
encouragement works, and and
Yes.
you being there and always
Yes.
being there, always being a support system
Yeah.
works.
Once my
Anyway,
elder
thank you so much,
Yeah.
Tanaz. It was very nice to know from you as to how you overcame this with two children who were both different, and how you handled them.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would
Thank
like to now call Mrs. Poonam Arora for her to tell us about her experiences and her learnings as a parent, as from time to time, as she kept observing her child. Now, let me tell you one thing about her, that she was an Indian. She is an Indian who went to another country. She went to the US after her marriage, and she had her child over there. And plus, it was an interracial marriage. So her husband was not an Indian, he was an American. So his ideas were different, her ideas were different, and they had this child who needed special attention, and how did she cope up? What were her experiences, and what did she do actually to get the best out of her child? Mrs. Poonam Arora, up to you. Hello, Poonamji? Yes, here she is. And we would like to know about your specific experiences and how you manage these specific situations and the child.
Okay, thank you. Let me begin with the correction. I am never referred to as Mrs. I'm always Ms. Poonam
Okay,
Arora.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. My marital status before, after, and now I'm widowed has nothing to do with my identity. It just is a social fact. Anyway, I have thought about talking about parenting and personality development at the macro level. What is it that we as parents and as a society are facing today? But let me begin, just because you began on a personal note, let me begin with a little anecdote. When my daughter was about 12, we were living in America. My husband happened to be traveling at that time. He was actually very far away in Fiji, and my daughter and I were at home in Minnesota. And we were having a disagreement about something. I had delegated her to do something, and she was resisting it simply because she was being lazy. And it got to a point of crisis where my daughter basically just stood up and said to me, I want a different set of parents. I don't want to belong to this family. I'm not happy, and I don't want you to be my parents. I want out.
Is it?
I am not easily phased. I'm not easily rattled. This once I was rattled. I called my husband and I said, come back right away. I'm having a crisis. The moral of the story being that parenting is a very delicate negotiation between child and parent, between family and society, and between society and the individual trying to emerge as being a member of that society, which is what we call peer pressure.
Yeah.
So, what I understood from my child standing up and basically saying, I don't want you as a parent, I want a different set of parents, was her act of resistance. It was her saying, I don't want to take orders from you. She would, from the time that she was 2 years old, she would say to me, you are not the boss of me. You are not the boss of me. So I said, no, I'm not the boss of you, but I do have to direct you because in this instance, I'm the parent. I run the family. You're the child, and I have to train you to be a member of this family. And you will not always like it. So, as you can see, it was troubling, it was contentious, it was difficult. Plus, the teachers at her various schools would tell us that she is very, very empathetic, very creative, very sensitive, and has the potential of being, if not handled correctly, very destructive. She could grow up to be a terrorist, for instance.
Okay.
So there was a plus side to it that said she's a marvelous child, but if not handled correctly, she could be a menace. So we knew this in the back of our minds. We also knew that if we pressed the wrong buttons on her, she would just go ballistic. Neither of us would be able to handle her. And to tell you the truth, there were moments I was actually afraid of her, that may she not go ballistic. This may sound horrible, But I should also say that if you were to ask my daughter today, she would say, my husband and I have been the best parents anybody in her entire peer group could have.
Oh, I see.
In fact, she will tell her friends, oh, you don't like your parents? You don't get along with them? Talk to my mom. Just talk to my mom can handle it. Just, my mom will adopt you. Just go to my mom, she will adopt you. Everything will be wonderful. So,
how did you bring about this change?
it was gradual. I think the most important thing is that when I assert that I expect this from my child, X, I can't just put it in words. I have to live it. Whatever I expect of her, I have to live it 24/7 when she's not watching, when she's watching me interact with other people, when she's watching me interacting with my students. Remember that I've been a professor for 35 years. So my daughter has always seen me interacting with my students, no matter what. So when I'm not aware of the fact that she's watching me, she has been watching me. And so whatever I say has to stand the test of her approval at all times. I can never be a hypocrite. I can never say, do this and I not. You see what I'm saying? I have to be on stage and proving myself all the time, even when she's asleep or I'm asleep. You see what I'm saying? That parenting is not just about saying what you expect. Parenting is about living what you expect. So just recently, for instance, my daughter was reminding me that when she was 5 years old and she went to kindergarten, in schools in America, the students are expected to stand up and speak the Pledge of Allegiance. That means you pledge your allegiance to the country, to the state, that you will be subservient to and observant of the values of the American nation. Apparently, I told her, this is bullshit. You don't have to pledge allegiance to America. You have to pledge allegiance to whatever you stand for. You're not just a citizen of America, you're a citizen of the world. So if America is in contest with some other country or some other society, you have to stand up for whatever you believe in, not what you believe as an American because you happen to be born in America. I must have made this clear to her in her own, age-appropriate way. So this was when she was 5 years old. And then recently, I think we were having a conversation about how, some sports people, they take the knee. That means that they don't stand up for the national anthem or they don't salute the flag of the country. And she said, why is this so controversial? I understood this when I was 5 years old. I said, how did you understand that? She said, Mama, you told me to not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I went, oh shit, I did that. But I'm sure that from the age of 5 to now, when she's 24, I must have lived so that I proved to her that my allegiance is not to the country I was a citizen of. By the way, I was a citizen of India before I was a citizen of America, and now I'm back living in India. I don't owe allegiance to any country. I owe allegiance to the world of countries and nations. So these are things that are very complicated at times. But what I'm trying to say is that the kind of personality development that has happened in my child has happened because she has tested every value that has been spoon-fed to her by society. She has tested that and figured out, do I agree with this or do I not agree with this? And this has become second nature to her. I would say that of all the different kinds of, characteristics that we expect of children, they should be successful, they should be well-adjusted, they should be creative, they should be socially attractive, they should be beautiful looking, they should be well-dressed, they should be respectful to our friends when our friends come to visit, etc., etc. My daughter has learned to test these, and if they don't sit with her, she rejects them. And
during her testing of all these things, if I may interrupt, when she was testing all this, what were you doing at that time?
She would ask questions. She would say, hypothetically, if this happened, what would you do? She would ask my husband, Papa, do you agree with this? Papa, how do you react to a situation where you are racially insulted or abused or harassed? She also observed very, very carefully. I think more than anything else, she just was a very keen observer. She observed that other parents and sometimes teachers said one thing but did another thing. So she saw the discrepancy between what they profess and what they live. I'm sure there are times when she has found that I did not live up to what I professed. But I would say, by and large, I have passed the test in her observations. But let me take this to a more abstract and higher level of discussion, which is that the personality trait or the personality that I and my husband have intended to imbue in our child is that of a rebel. She's a rebel. She will rebel against injustice. She will rebel against inequality. She will rebel against poverty. She will rebel against oppression. So that is her dominant quality. Okay. Other qualities like, will she be successful? Quote unquote. I have no direction.
When she rebelled, how did you calm her down, or how did you, explain things to her?
She never rebelled. She rebelled against us sometimes. But let me give you an example. We were in Abu Dhabi, and she was in a Western style Canadian school, and there were 8 students in her class. They were from 8 different countries, and the teacher was a Canadian, and there was a certain social hierarchy among the children that if you were a Westerner, you were higher up. If you were Arab of UAE, you were second. If you were Arab of some other poor Arab country like Lebanon or Palestine or Egypt, then you were third in the hierarchy. And if you were South Asian, like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or Bangladesh, then you were at the bottom of the social hierarchy. So this was the hierarchy in the country. This was the hierarchy in their school. And I'm sure that the teacher didn't intend it that way, but this kind of ideology, it comes from in every direction. So the children have no escape from it. She was only 10 years old. But anyway, there was a fight between 2 students. One was an Austrian student and the other was a Lebanese student. So the Austrian student was at the peak of the social circle, and the Lebanese student was sort of at the bottom. There were no South Asians in the sense of Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi in that group. My daughter was not recognized as an Indian, she was recognized as an American. So she was at one of the top, but she was not white. Anyway, so the 2 students had a fight, and they went to the teacher, and the teacher arbitrated and basically took the side of the Austrian student and chastised the Lebanese student. And The Lebanese student was very unhappy. She cried, this, that, and the other. This went on and on for weeks. Finally, my daughter went to the teacher. No, she was only 10 or 11. She went up to the teacher and she said to the teacher, I think the way that you handled this fight was wrong. The teacher was like, what? She said, yeah, you made the situation much worse. Instead of saying, this person was right in this way, this person was right in that way, and you create a reconciliation. She didn't use the word reconciliation. She said, you didn't make them friends, you instead made the fight worse. So I disapprove of the way that you handled this. Apparently, this is what happened, and we didn't know anything about it. At the end of the school year, the principal called us to the school and said, I need to talk to you as parents. Oh man, we thought, oh dear, this is trouble. This is trouble. Principal has called us into the office. So we went. The principal said that there is an award that is instituted by the Sheikha of Abu Dhabi. That means the Queen Mother. That means the mother of the founder of the country of Abu Dhabi. Her name is Sheikha Fatima. She's like goddess. She has instituted an award for women's leadership, and it is for girls in high school. And we have nominated your daughter for this award, even though she's only in 6th or 7th grade, and she has won that award. What did she do? We never even heard about anything. She didn't come home and tell us anything. We were totally, we thought we were going there to be told, your daughter is a problem child, please straighten her out. Instead, they told us she has won the highest award for women girls leadership in the country, and she will be recognized by the Minister of Education, blah, blah, blah.
Poonamji, I'd like to interrupt you here. We have just one more minute for you. Thank you.
So, I am giving these examples to say that it is very important that we as parents determine what exactly as a personality type are we trying to target in our child. We didn't target that she should be successful. We didn't target that she should be well-adjusted. We didn't even target that she should be first in class or do her results and get an A+. We just said, stand up for injustice. Because we stand up against injustice, not for. We stand up against injustice, and we expect that you as our child will stand up for injustice. And that is her dominant personality trait. But everything else has taken a backseat.
Okay.
I'll
have to cut you short here because our time is running out. But that was excellent. Thank you very much. My next speaker is Prajna there? Is Prajna there? Hello? Otherwise,
hi, I'm there. Yeah, there. Sorry.
You're here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me present to you, my dear friends, Prajna. Prajna has been a person, she's very well educated, very widely traveled, as you must have heard her profile and all that. And she has traveled in India, widely traveled in India and also abroad. And she has had her child over there, her children over there. And how she handles the difference of
You're
cultures.
talking about me, get out fast.
No, am I talking about Tanaz? Am I talking about Prajna? Prajna also has 2 children. Yes? Oh, sorry, she has 1 child. And how Prajna has handled the difference of cultures. And hello, may I? Hello, are we all right?
Yes, yes.
So
there's a correction, sorry. I have 2 daughters.
You have 2 daughters, exactly. That is what I have over here. You have 2 daughters. Even Tanaz has 2 daughters. Even you have 2 daughters. And her thing was that how she tried to bring in, because she's an Indian, she had Indian values, and now she is in America. Over there, the values are different, and how she managed to do the balance of the cultures whilst bringing up her children. That was her challenge also. Probably she had other challenges. I think Prajna will be the best person to speak. Prajna, please come on stage. The screen is yours. You have 10 minutes to speak. Let us know
so
what
my
were your
time
challenges.
starts now.
Prajna, please understand that we would not like to know what your child is. We would like to know how you did, what were the challenges you faced, and how, as a parent, how did you help your children overcome them? And probably you also had challenges. So how did you overcome your own challenges and help your children to come up with their challenges? Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for introducing me. Tell me, am I audible or am I
Yes, you
echoing?
are. Yes, you
You're
are.
audible.
Okay. So as you can see from my face, I am a very, what do you call it? I'm a very practical, and I like to face challenges.
Okay.
And for me, nothing is actually a challenge. This used to make my mom very upset, because she used to expect me to be sometimes sad and down. But that never used to happen. Because nobody could ever put me down, even as a child. Face bullying. It's not that I didn't expect bullying, but in my school, nobody could bully me. And in adult life also, nobody could bully me. It's not that I didn't face racism. I faced racism, but I gave it back as good as it gets. Because I don't know why I am like this. I am very combative by nature, especially if I am being wronged. So this is what I gave to my daughters. Though I must say that they have got some of their fathers this thing also. So they don't flare up like I do, because I cannot stand injustice of any kind. Right from childhood, I couldn't. Now, as for, I don't want to talk about my daughters. There's nothing to talk about them because they are doing very well. I did not face any challenges with respect to their IQ, with respect to getting them adjusted in Indian schools, European school, American school, Canadian school. No, because I brought them up in such a way, and I am such a combative mother that nobody will try to mess with me as far as my children are concerned. I don't care which color, class, creed, what status in the society they have. But for me, if anybody comes between me and my child, they have it. So my children know that very well. So that gave them enormous confidence. But I want to say something extremely different from what everybody has said, but it is related to parenting. I may have become a mom at age 22, but I was planning to become a mom from age 16 or maybe age 14. I did not have any idea whom I'm going to marry or what is going to happen to me in future. But I knew that I am going to be a mom and I'm going to be a very good mom. So for that, I need to study very well. I need to do very well in my professional life, and I want to find a good life partner. So for me, I chose my own life partner because for me, it was very important that the person I choose is genetically very good. Like my parents never believed in caste, culture and all that because they also had a love marriage. But that's besides the point. I am a scientific person. So for me, it was very important that the person I marry has a good genetic pool. I might sound very analytical and as if I am planning to produce livestock, but it is not like that. I am very scientific person. So for me, that was very important. So when I went around, when I thought of having a husband, I first wanted to meet his family. So this, my husband, whom I met at a very young age, We come from the same background, like exactly same. And it was because of my choice. I wanted to have somebody from similar background. Then I wanted to meet his parents first, because I don't want to waste my time with him if I don't find his family good, right? So he introduced me to his mom and daughter.
Prajna, may I interrupt you here, please? May I interrupt you? Prajna, we would like to hear from you about the parenting aspect, about after marriage, when you had children and what happened and how did you face the challenges?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. I can't start talking about that without talking
out
about
of your marriage and all. We are deviating.
No. You are getting me wrong. I cannot start talking about something which has been built before talking about the foundation. So give me time. I have time. I can see that.
Okay.
I'll come to that. So as far as parenting thing is concerned, I saw my mother-in-law. Okay, so I observed her very carefully before marriage, because I wanted to know if I can learn something from her as far as parenting is concerned, and if she herself is a good mom. Because for me, that was very important. Like, no point in getting married, producing children, if I have to struggle a lot on basic things. So anyway, that turned out well. So my mother-in-law turned out to be very nice. And I did learn a lot from her. She taught me how to, I found the way she brought up my husband to be very good. In fact, I found it to be the ideal way of bringing up boys. But I don't have boys, I have daughters. So I, subconsciously, I tried to remember whatever she said. She never stayed with us. I always stayed in a nuclear family separately with my husband. But she did used to come to me when I had my child, she came to me, first child, then second daughter also, she came to me. So I learned from her certain tips, basic tips, how to bring up small babies and all. And then I also learned from her how to make a child very, what do you call it? To have very strong self-esteem. And that can only be done by giving a lot of love, a lot of unconditional love. So what I tried to do is, I tried to create an atmosphere of love for my older daughter, because she was an only child for 7 years. Now, I wanted to make sure that she has a proper peer group. So in Lithuania, it was very challenging because nobody spoke English there. And so I had to learn Lithuanian. My daughter learned Lithuanian because she was a child. And I made sure that she integrates completely into the Lithuanian society. Just because she's a brown child, it doesn't mean that she has to be friendless. So I made sure that she used to go to the children's kindergarten, which was from 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening. And they had so many different kinds of activities. Then the place where I stayed, I made friends with my neighbors, spoke Lithuanian with them, and their daughters, I made them friendly with my daughter. So, and my daughter, she has studied in a few international schools, and it is very difficult. Like every year, her friends were changing. So it was a challenge for me, because for a child, it's very important to be to have a stable environment. You cannot have your friends keep on changing every year, and your house changing every year. And it is very, very difficult. So for that, I made sure that she is very social, like she integrates into the society, come whatever may. Because at that age, peer group of a child is very important. So when we were in Lithuania, Estonia, she had a very good circle of friends. She was 5 and 6. And through her friends, I had a big circle of friends. The same thing happened when we came to Canada. That time I was pregnant with my second daughter, and I was studying for my licensing exam. So I did the same. I applied the same strategy, that she has to have a lot of friends. Now she has a sister also, but she has to have a lot of friends. So again, same thing. Nothing can come between her and her friends. And of course, she was good in studies and all that. So this helped her sail through her teenage years, because it's in teenage years here in North America where children go like astray, because they have to adjust themselves into a peer group, and for that they will do anything. To be involved in a group, they will do anything. So this, my mother and my mother-in-law both taught me that to get included in something, you don't have to do anything. If they don't include you, forget about them. Create your own group. That has always helped me throughout my life. So same. That's why my daughter never got bullied. There were chances she would have got bullied. But first of all, no parent will want to deal with me if somebody bullied my child. Okay. And secondly, I made her in such a way that nobody can bully her. I'm not saying the children who get bullied, it's their fault. But I'm saying that if a child is very, very strong from inside, nothing can affect them. And that was my biggest challenge. My challenge was nothing else. My challenge was my children should not get bullied. And for that, I have to provide them a secure environment in the house. If I keep on fighting with my husband in front of them all the time, then they will get bullied at school. So we have to provide them a secure environment full of love, unconditional love in our house. So I might have had a lot of issues with my husband, like any couple, which I don't want to discuss here because it's irrelevant. It has always been irrelevant to me, because for me, my daughters are most important. For them, I will do anything, which includes having a happy married life, because after all, it's for the children that I am married, right? Otherwise, why should I be married? Like, I don't have any need to marry. I can always study further and do this and that. But when I got married, it was only to provide a secure environment. And in India, name matters a lot. It matters a lot everywhere. So I made sure that nothing can come in between, not even a ripple. So that made my daughters very strong from inside. My younger daughter tells me about instances of bullying and how she handled it all by herself without telling me. So that made me really proud. And those were the challenges. Like any parent who comes, even in Indian schools, there's a lot of bullying. I know that. I'm aware about this class difference, as Dr. Poonam Arora was telling about the class hierarchy. This makes me so angry. I cannot even I'm glad that she handled it so well. But this is one of the reasons that I did not go and stay in US, because I know that there's a system of public school and private school, and this kind of thing goes there. And how much can you fight? Like, if I spend all my energy in fighting, how am I going to look after my children's development? So that's why we stayed in Canada. The decision to stay in Canada was mine. The decision to come to Canada was mine. The decision to go here and there was also mine. Otherwise, my husband would have stayed happily in India and not moved out. It was my decision to go ahead and get out of India, because I found a lot of discrimination in many things. For example, I wanted to get my daughter admitted in Mount Carmel, which is a convent in Ahmedabad. But oh my God, you need this, you need that. So I had to get her admitted in Delhi Public School. But why? Why can't I get her admitted in the school of my choice? Because I don't know this person, that person, I can't give donation. So this made me extremely angry. I said, no, my daughter is not going to grow up here. So I told my husband, you have to find a job outside. I want her to study in international school because I cannot stand this discrimination. So that's what urged him to get out. So it's not like that I'm following my husband anywhere. I only pushed him out because of the education system. I studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya, Central School. I grew up in Army cantonment. I did not face any discrimination. But now I recollect, yes, there was a differential treatment given to the children of officers versus given to the children of Jawans. Because I was an officer's daughter, I could not see it, but I knew my friends would have faced it. And also, I remember as a child, do I have some time or I don't?
You have just 1 more minute.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So yeah, it used to bother me that why they should be discriminated. Why should my servant's child be discriminated? What is so special about me? And what is so bad about her that she has to be treated like this? Why isn't it an equal egalitarian society like it is in Canada? I don't like casteism also, by the way. And that is another thing in India. You have to fill out what caste you are in. What bullshit is this? Why should I fill out the caste? Because I know I filled out the caste thing when I was in school, college. I remember it distinctly. So those things, they irritated me, and it is not for economic thing. It is for cultural thing and infrastructure thing that we came out, and it's for the development of my daughter and future children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prajna. You have really outlined certain things and very, very clearly, very, very emphatically, that come what may, we have to stand by our children, and we've got to give them a very, very secure background at home so that they become strong. Thank you very much, Prajna. My next speaker is, you said Dr. Sonali was available?
Yes, he is.
So we can call Dr. Sonali now. Hello, Dr. Sonali, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, please come along.
Yeah.
Let us hear from Dr. Sonali. What were the challenges that she faced whilst bringing up her children, and how did she overcome them? How did she help her children to overcome them more than herself? I'm sure you must have had challenges as a parent, but also you must have faced challenges for your daughters also. They must have faced some challenges. How did you help them overcome?
Yeah. Thank you, Meena. Honestly, when the other speakers were talking, whether Dr. Poonam and also Prajna, one thing that I felt is I'm totally blessed that I hardly face challenges while kids, and very, very blessed and very, very grateful to God that I'm blessed with two children, my son and my daughter. And of course, there are discriminations, there are challenges in India. However, what I really see in my children is they have learned to adapt. And something that I resonate with Dr. Poonam is this, that how you conduct yourself is a testimony to your child, that how the society works and how they can go ahead and emulate certain practices which will help them not only personally but professionally. So my son happens to be in the airline industry. And a long time back, in fact, as a child, we always used to ask him, okay, what do you want to be? And he would say that I just want to be a boy. There's nothing else. And, we in fact used to, we used to joke that, like the family members, they would be thinking that there is a special profession called being a boy, what is this being a boy? And eventually, as he started growing up, he said that, being a pilot seems to be a reasonably decent profession where you see the world at the cost of your organization. And at the same time, you have a lot of fun when you come back home because father never seemed to have any kind of stress whatsoever. Whereas mother, handling a corporate role, was always on calls, either clients escalation or there would be teams calling up, asking what to do next and so on and so forth. So I don't have any regrets. Yes, I did have sleepless nights to decide whether this is a profession that I'm happy, because I got into it when I was getting married and I was excited. But there are days when, like you're under stress till your husband reaches the next destination and so on and so forth. But yeah, over a period of time, my father-in-law, my husband, my son, they've all been in the same profession. And I'm kind of getting used to the norm of when they come back and when they have flights, and no Saturdays and Sundays, right? So the days they are home, it's a Saturday and a Sunday for us. With regards to my daughter, when I moved to Bangalore from Calcutta, that's when she was born. And of course, very, very, very kind of strong-minded girl, to an extent that, she decides how everything should be operating even in the house. And a lot of practices I feel that she has picked up from the education systems, from her reading, and we encouraged both the children to really convey and express themselves. That was the only thing, unlike probably the upbringing that I saw that my mother-in-law had. And of course, I always used to admire her, that how does she command both her children to do whatever she wants them to do. But I then realized that my set of parents and my husband's set of parents were very, very different, to the extent when I got married at the age of 18 and became a mother at the age of 21. Everyone was like, are you sure what you're doing? I said, yeah, I'm very happy that I'm well settled, and I have done all the tick marks in the boxes that a woman would like to have. So of course, that's how it happened. And both the children are very, very independent minded, and we have a very democratic way of deciding what needs to happen at home. Yes, challenges do come at times when they have an opinion which doesn't match ours, but we have aligned to them rather than they aligning to us. It's always that, okay, if it's your life, you want to do certain things, and if you feel this is the best way, you would like to go ahead and practice them to be happy, to be satisfied, to feel more empowered in your life, then so be it. So that's been our journey as parents and as educators in our life. Yeah. So if there is anything that you would like to ask me, Meena, I'm happy to.
Yes,
respond.
I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
The way you have described, everything has been very hunky-dory with you.
Yeah.
So, is there a reason why everything was hunky-dory and things went so smoothly? Or did you face some challenges which you were able to kind of dissolve?
Yeah, so the challenges, I would say, is only a matter of opinions, and which keeps coming every now and then, right? So case in point, my daughter, she is a pure vegetarian who doesn't touch any spices also, and she doesn't like having milk because apparently the calf is not going to get enough milk if she has milk. So that is her logic, right? And of course, my mother-in-law's opinion was that, you're doing a big mistake, that you're allowing her to live life the way she wants to do, or she wants to take it forward, right? Yeah. So I did have that challenge, that I'm not a dictator by personality, and I accepted a lot of these opinions, whether it be hers, whether it be her brothers, or even my husband, my in-laws, because what I felt is, to be in relationship, you need to accept people as they are. And if you're not,
how did you strike a balance between what your mother-in-law said and what your daughter wanted to do and what you believe?
Yeah. So I said that I do what I believe. I practice that, right? My daughter is an individual and she has the right to practice what she believes. And my mother-in-law has a right to her opinion. Right, so there comes the balance of 3 generations.
Believe me, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, difference of opinion is a little more difficult to balance.
I know, and I did face that as an 18-year-old when I started my married life. But thereafter, I found that I'm taking up, what I learned from my corporate bosses is, you need to select your battles very, very carefully. There are certain things in life just not worth fighting about or fighting for. And I gave up those battles. I just, what I found very interesting and very smart with some of my cousins and others, They were men, of course. And what they do is, when they don't like certain things and they want to express and debate and hours of toiling in these discussions, they just skip the topic. You will see men sometimes are not listening because they don't have the energy to debate, right? They just say, hey, please go ahead, vent out, right? But nobody is listening. You are just venting, right? So what's the point venting and, getting into a debate, a dialogue, which is never ending, right? At the end of the day, you would have done worthy things in that time that you had in hand. And if you really want to live a very peaceful life, avoiding some of these challenges like the Kargil zone, right? You just avoid the Kargil zone and get into a peaceful state and say, hey, look, there are people who are not going to think like you. The sooner you accept them, the better life you are going to lead. Now it's up to you whether you want to be selfish enough to lead a very, very happy and delightful state, or you want to engage in these conversations and drain yourself.
I must say, you have achieved the stage of nirvana very early in life.
There's always a selfish reason to do that, right?
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of wisdom out there. I think all of us can learn this from you. Thank you so much, Sonali.
Thanks, Meena. Thank you so much.
Very much. My next speaker is Deeksha. Now, amongst all these speakers, these were parents, mothers who were expert, who tried, sort of trial and error with their own children. Probably at times they did some mistake, they went wrong, but then they tried and then they came to the right place and they did things and things like that. Projna says she never went wrong. And Shonali says she just avoided what was not required. So that was her way of doing things. But now we have Deeksha. Now, Deeksha is very different from all the other four in the sense that she's a qualified person for the particular subject. And she's been doing a lot of work also, a lot of research, and she is trying to get certain things to be incorporated in schools also. I'm not going to speak much about her because I don't want to rob her time. Please, Deeksha, take over and the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Meenal ji, and especially Shana as well. I mean, she has been a brilliant child in putting everything together for us. I actually learned a lot today, and I'm really grateful to all five of you who spoke before me. And I was really taking notes of your lessons, whatever I was picking up from you. So I really
think you have 10 minutes. Okay.
Yes, I have 10 minutes. I will consolidate in that. So what I would like to present is a very different perspective right now. What I understood from Tanas, from Projna, from Shonali, from Dr. Poonam is that they had their own ways of handling the situations, and that is how they made a win-win situation for both the parties.
Right.
My submission here is that little bit distracted from what we are talking, that we all take birth to help each other grow spiritually. So even if when we have children who are little less privileged, or when there are challenges in the family, when there's a conflict in the family, we actually have chosen that. So all the lessons, our families, I mean, for Projna, I was thinking that she says she chose a gene pool, but actually you already chose that before you were born. So you knew where you are going, who will be your child, what are the challenges you're going to face, because through these challenges, we grow. We actually spiritually grow. So Tanas has grown multifolds with all the challenges she has faced in her life through the second child and the marriage issues and everything. Now she is a strong woman. Otherwise, I think she would have been a very simple person, right? She has become a strong woman. So strong women make strong children. And my submission right now for this current situation, COVID times, no, our children is a whole, this generation is having imbalanced root chakra. So root chakra actually is our ancestral chakra. It's our survival chakra, survival place. So we have to provide some extra care to children right now. much more than what we were giving earlier. We have to give it now, because when that is imbalanced, no other things, everything goes, a whole personality goes off. So Prajna did the right thing of actually protecting children, so that there is no bullying happening, so that there's a beautiful home there. Yes, tell me, Meeraji, you're saying something?
No, carry on.
Okay. So that is those are the things. For parents, I would present a little bit of perspective. If you see your children having change in sleep routine or eating routine, or you see they are getting frequent nightmares, or they're very withdrawn or very aggressive suddenly, or they complain something again and again, or have a clingy behavior, these are some very early signs which you can catch that a child is going through something which he or she is not able to express, because kids don't express these complex emotions. They just tell you physically, they express it, like they will be disinterested in playing, they will be very silent and sad. So if we can, as parents, as mothers and fathers, can catch those early signs, no, we can actually save them from getting into bigger troubles in life. So all those mothers whom we heard today were very strong and very vigilant, but not everybody is. I mean, we are all busy in our work, and sometimes we just miss out these small symptoms. So we should keep an eye on our children, especially about if their sleeping behavior is changed or they're very aggressive. So then we know that there's something wrong, something is bothering them. So now what to do? How should we help them come out of that? Best way is to listen to them. Try to spend some time with your child, make them speak up what is bothering them. They might not open up immediately because they might be even shy or scared. So what you have to do is, depending on the age of the child, encourage them into some playful activities or something. I mean, something which they like to do. And when they're engrossed in their activity, that is the time when you hold that conversation, and you will see the Pandora box. Lot of information will come out, that this was troubling me, that was happening to me. All that information will come out. And that is the time when, as a parent, we don't have to judge. We have to, because all those emotions are real. Whatever the child is feeling, they're expressing their authentic self. And if we judge at that point, they get a guilt. They get a shame. Oh, I'm a bad person. Oh, I am wrong here. So now we are imbalancing the sacral chakra as well. The second chakra is now getting imbalanced in that process. So we need to take care of that. And then have a routine. I mean, in this COVID times, we were very busy with our things. We need to have some routines where we can engage with children, have some quality time with them, do some workout with them together, or cook something together, learn something together, whatever you both want to do that. And that is the time again when children will actually open up a lot. And for especially the teens, I would like to just present one perspective, that when they grow up, we feel that we don't need to hug them enough. But trust me, hugging does wonders with children. So as much as you can hug them, you please do that. And it's very simple. You just have to open your arms. They will fall for it, because they need that kind of a love, security. And now you are empowering the heart chakra. So you are actually encouraging that compassion between you and your child. That bond is becoming very specific with them. Similarly, now being specific. So now you have to be very specific with your child. Don't give vague, complex instructions like, oh, please put your box toys back in the place, or please clean the room. What are you talking? That's the playground, right? That's not mess. That's a playground for them. So instead of that, use affirmative, positive statements. Encourage them in that way so that they do their stuff. Right. So this is how you are empowering solar plexus as well. So what I'm trying to tell you is, slowly by our each actions, the energy system of our child is getting empowered. We don't realize it while we disturb it. If we become little bit mindful, no, we will actually be able to build a very empowered society and children as well. Last one, which I would say, is mind your tone. So when you are speaking, maybe you're saying the right things, but the tone of voice is either harsh or anxious because you are getting late for your deadline. You need to join the call. The child will take its own time to leave the bed, because children have no sense of urgency. At a psychological level, they don't have sense of urgency. So only when their friends are calling, they might be running. Otherwise, they don't have that. So shouting is not going to help them. It will, in fact, disturb them. So what will that disturb? It will disturb their throat chakra. So they will have difficulty in listening to instructions later in life. So we have to actually make sure that we actually allow all these 6 chakras which stay inside our body, one by one, help them become a very, very, what should I put, a empathetic child. I mean, I would say we have to create a balanced adult. We have to little bit put more effort, and God's grace, I take it as a positive sign that I got extra time with my child. So this is the time when I am also helping him balance everything. And I would like to present this so that everybody does it, so that we become more stronger after this COVID era is over. When we go out, our children are stronger and we are more stronger and more agile to the situations. That is my perspective.
Diksha, I would just like you to repeat for everybody's benefit and for mine also, the 6 chakras that you mentioned, and please say them very clearly.
I will. So our root chakra, that is our first chakra. It's called Mooladhar. So that is your Adhar.
You mentioned Hug chakra. You mentioned
I will.
The different chakras for children.
Yes. So chakras are same. So when we do things, that is what I will quickly come to that. So root chakra is the first chakra, grounding chakra, survival chakra. It is our ancestors' chakra. So we take birth in the bloodline where we have decided. That is our survival instinct. Then the sacral chakra is second chakra, which is emotions, which is about your addictions, which is about feeling good. So we all want to feel good. So we are heavily actually driven by our sacral chakra. Then comes the solar plexus, which is our third chakra. This is our will, our desire to do things in life. So when we empower it, we actually move from our place and break that inertia and do things in our life. Then comes the heart chakra, which is our fourth chakra. Heart chakra is in the center of your chest. It is about compassion. It is about the communication, energetic communication, which you do with people. Somebody's aura, you really feel good. That is what the heart chakra is expanded 6 feet out of your body. So that is why people sense your aura very easily. Good or bad, both we can sense. Then comes the throat chakra. That's a fifth chakra, which is throat chakra. Throat chakra is not only about speaking, it is about listening. So when you don't listen, nowadays we don't listen, we put our hands like this and say that, oh, I don't want to listen. Or when we are on our phone and somebody is speaking something, as I think Sonali was telling, that husbands don't listen. Their throat chakra gets imbalanced. That is why they're bad in communications, because they don't listen. So you imbalance your throat chakra. And then is the third eye chakra. Third eye is your intuition, is your vision, is your big picture, what you can see in life. And the last one, which is out of our body, is crown chakra. It's just above our head. So that is our antenna where we receive lot of information from cosmos, whether we are aware or not, whether we believe it or not. It is there and it is showering its light on us all the time. So these are our 7 major chakras, which get imbalanced very early. And each chakra is developed from womb to 7 years of age. And it gets imbalanced in that sense as well.
Thank you so much, Diksha. That was, even otherwise, your talk was very informative and very instructive in the sense, good guidance for what can be done and what shouldn't. Because at the end of the day, it is not only what you say, because every child is different. And apart from what you say, the mothers do face their own set of situations, and they act according to that also. You know, there's no manual, 100% manual in the world which tells you how to behave with your particular child. So partly what you say is guidance, but at the end of the day, every mother has to look at her own child and see what she can do.
What's best for them, yes.
What is best for them. Because very often we load our own ambitions and our own thoughts on our children. The children are born through us, but they're not born for us. They are born for their own journey. And we are just there to facilitate their journey. We are facilitators, nothing more, nothing less. And what best you can do is, if you want them to do something, you lead them by example, not by instruction. They will only, what Poonam ji said, that she had to literally live what she wanted her daughter to understand.
That
So,
was brilliant, actually. Live even when she's sleeping. I mean, that was something I
yes,
just took it to my heart. I was like, this is
yes,
what I have to do.
yeah,
That live your lessons. I mean,
fantastic what she said. And children are very, very sharp observers. That is also there. You can't just mold them. They are not clay. Come on. You can't mold them. बहुत पहले बोला जाता था that you've got to mold your children. No, you've got to allow them to mold
Grow.
themselves.
Yes, provide a
That's
safe environment for
because
them.
they are like flowers. They are not like clay. They are like flowers. Every flower blooms its own way, you know.
Absolutely.
So you've got to allow them that. You've got to help them that. You can take care of them, you can shelter them, whatever, but you've got to let them bloom their own way. Anyway, now I think I should not be putting in too much of mine. I've been a mother and a grandmother. Okay, so obviously I've had my own experiences, and I've been a single mother ever since my child was 2 years old. From then onwards, I've been a single mother. And of course, lots of challenges like anybody else would face. But anyway, it's not my turn to take this story long. I will leave it at that. And I will invite questions now from the audience as to is there anybody who would like to ask any questions, and is there any question which is pointedly for somebody? Participants, you may unmute yourself and please ask your questions. Anybody there? Even the speakers can ask their questions. No? Diksha, I think you summed it up very well.
No, I find each one had a beautiful flavor with it. And I took all those learnings very strongly. I was taking notes.
Yes.
My opportunity to learn from all of you in this short span of 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
You know, let me share one experience of mine for whatever it is worth. When my child was small, somehow or the other, right from the very beginning, even when I was not a mother, when I was a young girl and all, I used to hate it when people used to say to their children, don't do this, don't do that. So I had made up my mind that I'm not going to do that with my child. So when I grew up and my child was there, and like common thing that you rearrange your dressing table, you clear up everything so that the child doesn't touch anything. Yeah, you know, kitchen, you don't let the child come in the kitchen. I did just the opposite. I did just the opposite. I would allow him to play in water, and I would say, well, he wants to play in water, let him play. It's okay, his clothes will get wet, I will change them. He wants to play in mud, let him enjoy. Let him play in the mud. I'll wash the clothes. I never said no to all that. And he would take the kadai and sit in that and turn round and round, you know, and I would come there and I would turn it even more and he would enjoy that. So I had put some bartans separately for him so that he can enjoy them, making a noise, whatever he wanted to do. And in the dressing table, I had put one section with his things and the other sections with mine. I said, now this is yours and this is mine.
How wonderful.
And I did not have to fight with him at all. Don't do this, don't do that. Never, never. And the other thing that I did was, I would, because I grew up with many of my questions not being answered, because my mother belonged to the obedient generation, you know, who would just do things as told. So when we would ask, she would say, "Bas humne to kar liya tha, bola gaya tha to kar liya." But I wanted to give an answer. So I said, I'm going to give an answer to my son. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out. I would tell him, Aaj nahi pata hai, give me some time, I'll give you an answer for this. You know? So that is what I did. And it resulted in such a thing that he would bring all his friends to me and say, you know, he wants to ask you a question. So
that is wonderful, actually. Yeah. So I, with this question, I wanted to ask.
I never ever did that, but I think I made one mistake. Okay. I used to always tell my son, "Arey Baba, tum bahut achhe ho. तुम बहुत होशियार हो, तुम ये कर सकते हो, you are a smart fellow, you are a very good fellow, you're this. When he grew up, and I started doing the same thing with his son, he said, Ma, don't do it. Don't you do it. Because you don't know what a load you put on my head when you said I was something very special. I was not like the other.
That is true.
Don't do it to him. Don't make him subject to this. For God's sake, let him be an ordinary. Tell him that you can be great. Don't say you're born great. You told me that I'm born special. Don't tell him that. So that is one mistake that I did, which I was corrected by my own son. And
wonderful.
That's
wonderful.
It.
I would like to hear from.
Is that I have an only child. And he told me that you parents are very selfish people. You have a child because you want to have a child, and then you don't have a next child because you don't want to have the next child, but you don't see what the first child wants. He wants a companion, but you've never thought of that. So these are my two mistakes.
But then I will add that, see, as I started the conversation, we don't decide. We don't decide now. We have already decided earlier. So whatever lesson a single child has, he has already decided that he will go through those lessons. So that there is no complaint. So these plans are already chalked out much more before we are born.
This is a very debatable thing about destiny and whatever.
Correct.
We decided, but some other time we shall discuss.
Yes. So but, I would before we
right
close
now,
this,
I would say that yes, this was a. I was made aware of this by my son. He told me that you decided not to have a second child just because you didn't want it. And you had one because you wanted it. What about the child? What does he want? Have you thought of that? Anyway, so in a nutshell, I think we've hogged a lot of time because there was nobody else asking questions.
No, I have a question for Shana. So Shana is our youngest panelist over here, and I want to hear from her. What does she think about how is
lovely.
she?
I have thought of this earlier also. Yes, Shana.
How is she seeing like now?
What are your challenges that you face as a child, which you would want your parents to know?
I guess my parents have done a very wonderful job in making me grow up. All of you have also put up across your opinions, and I have loved to hear all of the different opinions of everyone. And I'm like, it's okay with me. Everything is okay with me. But I love the points everyone put across here.
Okay, so there's no challenge that you face, or there's nothing that you want to happen which you would like to communicate?
No, I don't guess I need to, but when I was small, I used to think I should have a small sister or brother because I just want to play with someone, but now I think I should not because I don't like, I mean, I have to like, many of my friends say that whenever your small sister or brother does a mistake, always you have being scolded for that. So that's why I think now that's better not to.
So that is why you don't know. Anyway, that is sibling rivalry at times and whatever. And a single child does become very self-centered. That's the problem China is facing right now. China is facing a huge problem of a population of youth which is self-centered and self-oriented, because China had the one-child formula from the last 30 years, I think, right? And it's on two extremes, you know. There is one child who has three sets of parents, two grandparents and his parents, and they are all wealthy. So he inherits from three sides, and he's spoiled, he's pampered because he sneezes and three couples get upset. And there is the other child who's from a very poor family, and he's got three couples to look after, and you know, just single person, and he's got the burden of three couples to take care of. And you can imagine how difficult it must be. So they are facing a very, very big problem, and that is why we say don't have one child ever. As far as you can have, please have more than one child. I always say three are better because there are two and then there should be one arbitrator.
Sana, you got only 2 minutes left.
Anyway, so with that, I think we end our topic because there's nobody asking any question. Is there anybody right now who has thought of something and wants to say? Hello, everybody. Where are the participants?
What if a parent has only one child? I mean, and
sorry?
I'm saying, what is the drawback of having only one child?
Having only one child, the child becomes very self-centered, very lonely when he grows up. Like my son said, when you grow up, when the parents go, we don't have any family left. You know, no, and during their life, they are very self-centered. Everything is for me. They just like this girl, Shana said that, you know, you have to share everything with your sibling. And if the sibling does something wrong, the blame comes on you because you're the elder. So these kind of things come up. They don't learn to share. They don't learn to empathize with the other person. Very often they have to be taught to do that.
No, if if a parent has only one child and he lives in joint family and he has cousin as his brother or sibling, then in that case,
that is fine. That is fine when he grows up in the joint family. But there have been cases where in the joint family, further up, the joint family has split, and because of that, the children have suffered a lot because they have been separated from their cousins with whom they grew up. So having their own brother or sister would have been so much preferable. But those are stray cases. Children who grow up with joint families, they are better off as single children rather than those with nuclear families.
Okay, thank you.
Sana, we stop the time.
Anybody else?
I guess we should close the event right now as we have some things left out. Yeah. So I would like to welcome Madhvi Gupta for the vote of thanks. Yes. And I would introduce her at the first. Madhvi Gupta, though she describes herself as a homemaker, is anything but. She completed and master of philosophy in mathematics. She has been a parent of 2 children and now she is a student alongside them. The older one of whom is pursuing a PhD in chemistry at the University of California, Irvine, and the younger one is doing an MS from IISER Pune. Madhvi Gupta grew up in Ghaziabad, UP, and now she lives in Riverside, California, from where she joins us today.
Where is Madhvi Gupta? I don't see her.
I guess we have a video of her. I'll just present my screen.
Madhvi Gupta. Madhvi ji, are you there?
No, she doesn't seem to be there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's here.
Okay, that's good.
Is my screen visible?
No, but you are showing me her picture, but I don't see her in the gallery.
I guess she has a video. I'll play that up.
Thank you, Shana. Hello, everyone.
Yes,
My name is Madhvi. Currently, we live in California.
Okay.
I am a mother of 2 grown-up kids. We didn't have access to such content when our kids were growing up. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So maybe we could have done things differently at that time. Because we are getting these sessions from the comfort of our home and we have time flexibility, I could have watched some content some more, I guess. I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I extend my gratitude to our esteemed role players, Shana Bhattacharya, MC, Sushim Suday, Technical Facilitator, Narendra Kumar Mishra, in charge of Sound and Recording, Dr. Swati, Chandra, Keynote and Welcome Address, Meena Talakraj, Moderator, Dr. Poonam Arora, Panelist, Dr. Sonali Datta Banerjee, another panelist, Diksha Avasthi, our panelist, Pragya Paromita Mitra, another panelist, and Tanas Patel Sapriwala, another panelist. To take out time from their busy schedule to grace the event. and thanks to other dignitaries. On behalf of Zina Soul Connect Foundation, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our attendees who spared their time on Sunday to grace the event. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for coming for today's event, which was wonderfully led by our speakers. I'm sure you will go back with a bag full of tips that you could implement right away. So happy parenting, everyone. A happy parent will ensure a happy child, and a happy child will make for parents happy. On that note, thank you once again, and goodbye to everyone.
Shana, let me play the anthem, please.
Yeah, please.
सदस्य जीनत है जीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। हम सदस्य जीनत है जीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। कष्ट गरीबी दुख हरने का हम संकल्प उठाएं, धरती को कुटुंब करने के लिए प्रयास बढ़ाएं। कष्ट गरीबी दुख हरने का हम संकल्प उठाएं, धरती को कुटुंब करने के लिए प्रयास बढ़ाएं। हम सदस्य जीना के हैं, जीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। सबको रोजी रोटी हो और सबको हो खुशहाली, हो निर्बाध विचार भावना सदा सीखने वाली। सबको रोजी रोटी हो और सबको हो खुशहाली, हो निर्बाध विचार भावना सदा सीखने वाली। हम सदस्य जीना के हैं, जीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। दया क्षमा नैतिकता हो और हो सम्मान सभी का, सबको यूं अपना माने के दिल ना दुखे किसी का। दया क्षमा नैतिकता हो और हो सम्मान सभी का, सबको यूं अपना माने के दिल ना दुखे किसी का। हम सदस्य जीना के हैं, जीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। सदस्य जीना के हैं, जीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा।
Thank you. Thank you, Sana.
Sana, you are the host in your most beautiful manner. Thanks everybody. Big goodbye. Until next time, with newer energy, fresh energy, all the mistakes that we committed, with a promise that we'll attempt to resolve them in the next.
Friends, I must say, whatever come, there was a little time up and down and whatever, but we have done it in very good time. We've wound up on almost the right time, a little over 5 or 7 minutes over. and we wound up at the right time.
Thank you everyone for coming for today's event, which was wonderfully led by all of our speakers. And today we got awesome tips from every one of you. And I guess you could implement them right away. And happy parenting, everyone. On that note, thank you once again and goodbye.
Yes, happy parenting, happy growing up to you, Shana.
Thank you.
Right.